crazy because of tropical storm. So I spent the last day and a half or so building myself a toy portal using form assembly. I think you could probably do this with any form tool that has direct connection to Salesforce. And I thought I would show you how I did it. First, credit due where credit belongs. Um, the inspiration for this comes from a guy named Turner who works at a Salesforce consulting firm called Commentary in Dallas. And he first turned me on to this idea of using forms as a portal. In fact, they are willing to build a volunteer portal for people. And I just wanted to put the concept to work. And so I built a form. So let me show you. So I have now put it on our website. Bear in mind that I'm video recording on a 1 megabit DSL link, so things are going to be a little bit sluggish. I placed a button to our portal on our website today. It's live, and you're welcome to register for it and subscribe to our newsletter using it if you'd like. And so it opens up and it gives you the option to enter in your user email, which we're using as our ID, and a password. If you've never been here before, you get the opportunity to register, in which case you simply enter in your email and your name, and you hit submit, and we will search our database for matching email addresses and find the contact, or if you're not in there, we'll make it, and then we'll send you a link. So it's confirmed by email and secured by email. So it goes, a confirmation email goes out to the inbox of the email that you register, and you click on that, and then you open up another form which allows you to set the password, which is stored inside of Salesforce securely. And then you can log on. So I'm going to go ahead and log on using my log on. And if I had forgotten or wanted to reset my password, I would just go here. And I'm using the same form to register as I am to handle forgotten passwords. You could not do that if you want to. It's the same thing. All right, so I'm submitting my logon, and assuming I type it right, I'm going to see, again, bear in mind that the portal is a little slow because I'm video recording on a 1 megabit DSL at the same time as trying to use it. It's not really that slow, but up it pops. It's branded. It's the main page, and it welcomes me with my name and email address just to remind me. It shows me announcements, and these announcements are coming from Salesforce. I borrowed a simple idea from our friends at Commentary and created a campaign and simply assign tasks to that campaign. And as long as they're marked in progress and the due date hasn't expired, they will show up here, and you press the little show button, and up pops the detailed announcement. I could style this form and remove the add another response button. That's just an artifact. And then there are 4 actions at present you can take on our portal. You can update your contact information. So if I click on that, here's all of my information, which is correct. So I don't really need to do anything about that. So I can ignore that. I can update my subscription options. I can opt into an occasional SMS. I can opt out of email or turn it back on if I have in the past opted out. I can opt out of any direct print mail or turn it on. And I can subscribe or not to some newsletters. And if I hit, let's unsubscribe me from the partner letter here for a second, I will hit submit, and it's going into our database, finding me, and updating me. And it says, hey, my subscription information has been recorded. Thank you. Click here to continue. I go back to that main page, and let's see if it worked. Update my subscriptions. Lo and behold, his partner is now off. So that worked just fine. And just so that I have it back on, I'm going to submit again. And so now I can continue, and I have another option, which is donate. And the nice thing about that is, lo and behold, it's even filled in some of the information for me, so I can set an amount, and I can form fill using my my remembered information and but it's got the name on the card and the billing information from my contact information. If I wanted to change that, I could, and then I hit submit, and it's going to make a donation, and I can log off. And if I log off, it says, hey, and so I can now log off, and if I can log back on again from our web page, and if I try to go back, in fact, you'll see that it will pull up that very same form, which is now styled to tell me that I've been logged off, and this could happen because of inactivity or because I logged off. And if I want again, I can go back to the logon form and log in. So that's how the forms work, and it's pretty cool. Let me show you. In order to support this, I added 4 objects in Salesforce. So I added a SIM portal user that contains 2 checkboxes. First is, this is an active user. If you register but don't ever set your password, we would not want you to be an active user, and so we will deactivate you by a process builder rule some number of days later. Reset password is a checkbox that indicates you can't log on right now until you set your password again. The password is stored on this object, and then we have a master detail relationship to the contact. So that's what's on the portal user, and then each time you log on, it creates a new logon record so that we can tell what activity is going on, and all it does is say whether it's active. And again, in case you don't log out, you wouldn't want URL spoofing or whatever to happen. So after a certain amount of inactivity, Process Builder automatically turns off this checkbox so that you can no longer log on against this object. So when you're logging on, you're actually logging on using this object. If there's no object, it won't let you log on. And then each time you hit submit, we are creating a portal activity button that lets us know what people do with the portal, so we can maybe have some analytics. And that's just a simple object that hangs off of the login and points back to a portal activity type. So it's a junction object. There's 2 master detail relationships, one to the portal logon and one to the activity type. And I envision that we'll just have one activity type per action that you can take. So right now there's update contact information and update your subscription information and make a donation. So that's what's going on inside of Salesforce, and there are 3 process builder rules going on. The first one is when a SIM portal user is brand new, we send an email out saying they need to verify their account, by clicking on the link, which then allows them to set the password. And if they don't set the password within a certain amount of time, we automatically deactivate the portal user. There is a second process builder running whenever portal user is edited. The first one says when the password reset goes from unset to set, we send out an email with the link to change the password. And again, and then when it goes from set to unset, we send out a notification just in case somehow some type of bad activity is going on. We just want people to know, hey, your password's been changed on our portal account. So those are the process builders that are on. And then there's one on the logon. Whenever we create a logon, we automatically deactivate it after the passage of time. So that's what's going on inside of Salesforce. Actually, pretty simple. Inside of form assembly, there are actually only 4 forms being used. You saw several of them. The first is our main is our logon page, and it has a link to take you to the registration, and which also serves as the I lost my password page. And so we've got the logon portal that you saw. You saw the registration portal, and then we have we have a simple page that simply takes in a password and a confirmed password, and puts up an error message if they don't match, and then we have the main portal. And now the reason this all works is because when you open a page in when you open the form, it reaches out to Salesforce and it pulls in certain data. And when you submit the button, it reaches out to Salesforce and changes certain data. And I will admit that's somewhat complex. It's not that complex, but it's a little complex. The most complex one, to be honest with you, was the registration one, because I had to be really clever about it. I had to look for, there's about 6 actions there. The first one is look for a personal email that matches what they said, and then look to see if they have a user ID a logon. I'm sorry, so we first look for a contact that matches the personal email that they entered. Next, if we find it, then we look for an existing portal user, and if we find that, then we just notify them how to log on. Else, if we find their personal email, but we don't find a portal user, then we create a portal user and they'll be notified how to verify. And then we do the same operations for work email and then alternate email. And then finally, if we don't find a contact matching any of those, we create a contact and then create a portal user. And to be honest with you, that was the most complicated connector, but form assembly has dependent objects. So you get to say, hey, look for that contact matching this, and if you find it, continue, and if you don't find it, stop. And then it goes on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So truth be told, about 6 processes are firing when you submit your registration, and only one of them is going to succeed. But anyway, that was the most complicated of that. So anyway, that's how it works, and the rest actually is very simple data manipulation. The logon simply finds a portal user that matches the name and the password, and if it does, it goes to the next form, passing in the ID of this portal of this portal logon that's active. And if it doesn't find such a thing, it actually goes to that form, but it passes in a blank portal logon, which then causes no data to load, and therefore all the conditional fields don't display on the form, and instead a message displays that says you didn't log on successfully. Anyway, it's a little bit messy, but that's how it works. I thought I would open up the main form and just show it to you informatively. Let's see. The main form, let's build that. So I built it in sections. Put our logo at the top. This section only displays if no data gets pulled in for the. I pull in whether the portal login object is active or not, and if it's not active, I display this section. Otherwise, the section is hidden. Here's the little welcome section, and again, this whole heading group includes welcome and the announcements and the checkboxes for the portal. And this is only shown if the login is active. And you can't see it, but there's some hidden fields that calculate the full name and the email so that we welcome them, and that's displayed there, like you saw it. This is a repeated field for every announcement it finds. It's going to build one of these objects in the announcement block, and this details is conditional on this checkbox being set, and so that's how we managed to have just a little list of topics for announcements shown, and then you click on it to show the details. Again, I borrowed that idea from Turner. And then here's our 4 portal actions, and you click on one of these and then hit the submit button. But when you click on one of these, one of the sections below gets turned on. Now here's hidden fields. These are fields that are needed for the form to work. We pull in the full name so that we can use it in that welcome message. We pull in the user email so we can use it in the welcome message. Here's whether the logon record is active or not, and it's not by default. That's the ID of the Salesforce object for the login. That's the ID of the Salesforce user for the portal. We need that so we can get the ID of the contact, so we can pull in all the information. And we also pull in the account ID, because if you make a donation, we actually build the opportunity and payment inside of Salesforce so that it's all automatic. So if you say update contact information, then this block gets shown, and there's all the data. And it's that simple. If you check the next box, this block gets shown. If you check the next box, this block gets shown. And these items were already filled in. And then I use the Stripe connector available in Form Assembly. I'll probably also I'll probably give the user 2 options, a PayPal donation as well as a credit card donation. But the Stripe connector adds these hidden fields so that you can actually have the charge ID and the customer ID inside of Salesforce, and we push those to the payment object. And then this little object only shows up if you ask to log off. It just reminds you to hit the submit button. So that's how the form works. And like I said, the connectors are relatively straightforward. You actually could do all 4 of these items at once. The connectors would all run. For the updating contact, the connector just pushes back all the data. It has the contact ID, and so it finds so it updates the contact based on the contact ID and all of this information. For the subscriber option, again, it has the contact ID, and so it updates all of these items on the contact. For donation, it first makes the call out to Stripe to actually make the donation, so then it has the customer number and all that stuff. And then it has, since we have the account, it bills an opportunity, and then it actually pulls the related payment and puts the payment details onto the payment. So that's kind of cool, and that's how it works. It's an interesting idea. I really appreciate Turner at Commentary for suggesting it. He has built a volunteer portal. It was featured on a Form Assembly webinar, and I built myself a little subscription portal, and we will likely go ahead and add donor information and volunteer information to this portal over time. I see no reason that donors can't log on to the portal and see their past donations very simply, And it does simplify the donation process because some of their information that can be pre-filled so that all they have to do is supply their payment method rather than fill out all their information. So, and likewise with volunteer information, it'd be really nice to include features from volunteer management into the same portal. So there you go. That's all I got. Enjoy. Leave comments. Bye.